Hello, hello, and welcome to this taste challenge. Not at dawn, mid morning, late. I did the Royal Canadian Crown Royal because I knew in my mind Royal Canadian was the one product besides VO, but the one product that was so similar to Crown Royal. Well, as it turns out, I could tell them apart. They weren't quite a complete match, but they were very close. And for a $14 a bottle difference, I mean, there was no argument. I would get Royal Canadian every time, assuming I would rebuy these, and I never would because I'm trying to like try everything, you know what I mean? Get everything so that, and what's the goal for that? There is no particular goal. You just try things and then that's it. It doesn't accomplish a whole lot. And some people, I watch beer, wine, and liquor reviews, especially beer, and it's almost like they're trying to accomplish something, like there's some great goal. And I never could really understand that. But anyway, that's them. This is me. So I wanted to do Royal Canadian and then go with all the other Sazerac company-owned Canadian whiskeys that I have because they're very similar in taste. They're sort of like the same. Are they the same whiskey in different bottles? I really don't know. They don't taste, it's hard to say because they seem like they're the same. And the answer is I just don't know. If I knew, I'd tell you. I don't know. I don't know how these companies work. I don't know their internal operations. I just know that they seem to go around buying up different brands from various companies and make a collection. And Sazerac has that. This is all our Irish whiskey. This is all our Scotch. This is all our Canadian. This is all our bourbon. This is all our blended, American blended. This is all our cordials. These are all our brandies. And most of that stuff is things they've picked up. Is that a bad business model? I don't know. I don't know anything about business aside from like I participate in it when I buy products. You know what I'm saying? So if that's working for them to go around and buy what you would say underperforming products that other companies are trying to unload, okay. I mean, like I say, it doesn't make any difference to me. If they succeed, fine. If they don't, oh well. I mean, I'm sorry. They are a Louisiana headquartered company, although their distilling operations are all around the world. Maine, many in Kentucky, Canada, Mexico, and so on. All right. Well, anyway, enough of that. Now, Diageo, well, I'll say enough of that, and then I'm going to keep going. Diageo, they seem to focus on like the premier brands. However, on the other hand, they do have a lot of what you would call below premium products like VAT 69 and VAT 69 Gold Scotch. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bargain basement product, but it is a known product. But, you know, 40, 50 years ago, it was much more highly regarded. But anyway, Brown-Forman sold a bunch of brands over the last 10 years to Sazerac. That's enough of that. It's not a theory. This is a taste challenge. It's not a liquor or beer theoretics video, although those are fun to talk. They're fun to watch and interesting to discuss. Those things are interesting to discuss. So Crown Royal introduced in 1939 for the royal visit of King George VI and Queen Elizabeth to Canada. They use 50 different whiskeys in it. Okay, this is for Friday. You say this is for Friday, but yet it's on Tuesday. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Friday is not going to work out. Saturday and Sunday is questionable, probably unlikely. It just things to do. But when you get time to do them, you do them. And then on the days when you got things to do, then you don't worry about it because you've done it, right? So 1939, hit the U.S. market 1964. They used 50 different whiskeys in the blend. 50 different whiskeys. Now, to me, it's like, wow, you use 50 different whiskeys. It's just kind of like bland, ho-hum, and ordinary and dull. All right. Could that be a situation where I can't pick up all the elaborate flavors and aromas in Crown Royal? Like it's above what I can detect. It could be that. I don't say, oh no, I taste stuff all the time. I'm a great expert. I know everything. No, I never approach it that way. Could be just that it's above what I can perceive, and then I have to just have a more amateur, unrefined, uneducated approach. I can live with that because, after all, it's true. Albertsons whiskey, Canadian whiskey, a blend. Well, yeah, it's a purple label with the red and gold. This is a gold label with the purple and red. No one in this world or any other world is going to mistake Albertsons Canadian blended whiskey or Canadian whiskey, a blend. Whoops. No one is going to, I'll pour some back. No one's going to confuse that for Crown Royal. You know what? You know that. That's not going to happen. But are they trying to play off the Crown Royal color scheme? Obviously, purple, red, gold. It's got that quaint little store brand appearance. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh yeah, you know, it's really premier. It's fun in a way though, because when you see these labels on the shelf, they're so homely. For $4.99, I got it for four. This is no lie. I got it for $4.99 at Albertsons in Baton Rouge. That is a true story. They're over there on the shelf all homely with their little closeout green tag. And they're so obviously not premium, but they try to like present themselves that way. And with the Irish whiskey, Drumcastle, fine Irish whiskey, like that nobody ever heard of. But actually Drumcastle's like way better than you would think. And then there's Royal, which every liquor store on the planet Earth probably carries, right? I mean, like that would be a scavenger hunt. Find a liquor store that doesn't carry Crown Royal. Now in Louisiana, you know, we don't really have liquor stores because most of our parishes allow, well, I don't know what they do in North Louisiana. They might be strict, but around here it's like every gas station, so right. So every gas station and convenience store and liquor and grocery store is a liquor store. I can think of one parish around here that is strict, so you have to buy liquor at a liquor store, right? But anyway, chances are you'll never see Albertsons, and there's 100% chance you'll see Crown Royal. Got it? Kyle, hello, Kyle. Cheers with a sweet tea, Ron. I've never seen Albertsons before. Yeah, well, that would go for 99.99% of the viewers. They've never seen Albertsons Canadian whiskey, a blend. They're not going to see it. Like I said, it had that green tag. That means closeout at Albertsons, this forest green tag. So when it's gone, you just don't see it again. Now, unless they're just closing out a certain bottle size, then you might see like, oh, well, they still have the handle bottles. They still have the half fit, you know, the 375, whatever. But anyway, honestly, the only Albertsons brand I see today is the brand, not the brandy, the rum, Albertsons Silver Rum. That's it. Everything else, they redid it as like a fake brand, like D.W. Anders brandy. Yeah. They got this straight bourbon that's like some made up name you never heard of, with in an obvious ancient age bottle, or McAfee's old number 8 bottle. They got the King Square. Well, I've got to be careful about King Square because I have seen King Square at other liquor stores that are not, obviously not very clearly not part of Albertsons. So that's a little confusing. But and so on. So but Albertsons is so huge today. They own so many different grocery chains. So what are you going to do? Sell Albertsons Canadian whiskey at Amigos in Texas, or Albertsons Canadian whiskey at Super Value in South Carolina? No. You come up with a common name, or a utilization name, a name that can be used across the chains, like D.W. Anders. Go to Jewel Osco in Chicago, you might see it. Go to Albertsons here, you're going to definitely see it. Jeremy says, cheers from work. Jeremy's at work watching my taste challenge. Thank you, Jeremy, for being at work and watching my taste challenge. Okay. Well, the appearance is very similar, but I would have to say, that the Crown Royal is just the very tiniest bit slightly more dark. Just a little bit more amber, but it isn't much more amber. Only a little tiny bit. Are they going to smell and taste alike? No, I don't believe so. Now let's keep in mind, this is a worthless let's keep in mind for two things. One, it's a worthless taste challenge in the sense that you're never going to find Albertsons, but I got enough left to do what, at least five more taste challenges. So I ain't wasting it. I didn't buy it to waste. And then I'm gonna feel played if somebody contacts me and says, what are you talking about? I went to my local Albertsons. They got 25 bottles of the doggone stuff. See, that could happen. So I have to be careful. Like the Albertsons rum, I said, they got 2 bottles left. It's gone. It's gone. Go back over there. They got 36 bottles. I said, oh. Bought it too because it was $2.99 for a half size. It's $98 for a full size bottle. $5.98. That must be the worst rum on earth. No, in fact, it's pretty dang good. It could compete against Bacardi. Wouldn't win. You know, I mean, it wouldn't win. You could tell them apart, but it could compete. Crown Royal. So far, where do we stand so far? Well, it tastes pretty good, honestly. Secondly, it's $23 a bottle. Is that a good price? You might think it's a good price, but I don't see that as a good price considering all this other stuff I can get that's half that price. Second consideration. It hasn't really done that great in the taste challenges as expected. You can tell it apart, and I think it was 10 out of 11 times. I always say I'm going to check my stats, and then I forget. But I know it's been 11 taste challenges, and I've only missed it once. So it is different, more or less. But even in the other taste challenges that I got correct, the 10 out of 11, I mean, I could tell it apart, but it wasn't like, oh, what, so much better. It stands apart. No, I haven't noticed that. It's marginally better. It has a sort of unique, it has a unique honey note. But I don't see where it is that much better. Now, like, let's look at the world of rum, gold rum and silver rum. Bacardi blows those other ones away, really. And I mean, people say Bacardi, that ain't even that good. That's just like run of the mill, average rum. Bacardi, everybody knows about Bacardi. Okay, fine. I'll go along with that. If you want expensive rum, you better get $100 out. Okay, we talking about regular old stuff that most people buy, not $150 bottles. Even though Bacardi is sort of like run of the mill, okay, ubiquitous, it was like blowing up all these other inexpensive ones I was getting. And I mean blowing them up, where there was just so clearly a difference. You say, oh, I'll buy Bacardi every day, no matter You know, I'm paying more per bottle. It's worth it, yes. But in the Crown Royal case, I wasn't really seeing that. But on with this. Last thing, I do believe that the rest of these taste challenges, because they're all Sazerac now, the Albertsons, which is sort of a throwaway taste challenge, I guess you'd say. The Canadian Hunter, the Rich and Rare, the Rich and Reserve, the Canadian Limited. I might be missing one, but I don't think so. They're all going to be like the same challenge. So whatever happens here is going to be a repeat the next 5 times. So if you want to save yourself a lot of time and effort, well, I mean, I guess watching a video is no effort, but you know what I'm saying? Just don't watch it, because this is going to be the same old thing. All right. Already know which one. Haven't tried the Albertsons, but I like Crown Royal. Interesting to see how it stacks up. Thank you. Well, you probably never see Albertsons, Jeremy, so it's like a moot. Like the whole video is moot, meaning, what does that mean? Meaning that it's like a meaningless issue. In other words, the issue has no meaning because you can't get it. It's like Saturday Night Live, which I don't find is usually funny. They're not funny, really. But I remember in 1988, they had a skit called The Point is Mute. It was Jesse Jackson, and he was doing a political discussion. They kept bringing up topics about running for president or national security or social issues. He said, yeah, but the point is moot. The point was moot because he had already announced he wasn't running for president anymore. He had dropped out of the race. So, yeah, I can give you all these answers, but I'm not running. So why don't you ask Michael Dukakis, who is in the race? You know what I'm saying? So that was the whole thing. The point is moot. He kept saying that the point is moot. Still wasn't funny. I caught the joke. It was cute. But like most Saturday Night Live skits, it's really not funny. I mean, they don't make me laugh. I just watch them whenever I do watch it. And I usually say, no, it's not really that good. It's just not a very good show. Really. All right. I know what you're saying. You're saying that because they're liberal. No, I'm not saying that because they're liberal. I'm saying it because they're not funny. Okay, this is the Albertsons. I'm going to tell you why I know that on first sniff. And there's no way I'm going to get it wrong. No way. It's impossible. I'm going to tell you why. David Arthur. Hey, Ronald, buddy. Greetings from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Jeremy says it used to be funny. There are isolated incidences back to 1975. I'll agree with that. There are isolated incidences in which the skits were really funny, and I busted out laughing too. I'll give them credit. I mean, I'll call a spade a spade. But thinking back over my life, there aren't too many episodes that were funny. Clever, cute, and glib. You say glib, that would be a very appropriate term for New York City and Saturday Night Live, Lorne Michaels, etc. But not funny. I mean, if you think it's hilarious and well, that's fine. But I don't think they're funny. All right. Clever doesn't mean funny. It's clever. You thought of it. It's ironic or cutesy. They're usually cutesy or droll. They're very droll. And double entendre and sort of racy in a bad way. And I mean, you know what I'm saying? In a way that's like unattractive, unappealing to them, but not funny. I don't think you want to Second City Television is funny. That was founded in 1976, a year after Saturday Night Live. But their premise was better, you see. So they had a much better foundation to be comical and funny. But of course, everything they did was better. I mean, most people know that they were much better, you know. Anyway, but they didn't have a budget. All right. But what they did with that limited budget was amazing. Okay, I'm going to tell you why. It's very nutty and strange. It's nutty like pecan oil, walnut oil. I've said this 1,000,001 times. John Anilli says almond extract. I can see where he's going with that, but obviously they don't use almond extract. But it's like we pinned it down. I think we pinned it down. We said it's probably white rum. They're adding white rum, which in Sazerac's case would be, I don't know. They make 100 white rums. Any of the stuff, that bulk stuff they use. So it's very sweet and like sugary, like a candy. Like a caramel candy, almost even a Werther's Original. Not really, but somewhat like that. All right, so that you would never smell that and say, oh, that's Crown Royal. No one on earth is going to say that. Unless they've never had Crown Royal, just making a wild guess. Okay, let's see. Just in time for break time. Cheers from California, says Daryl. Hey, cheers to you. David Arthur says, Saturday night, I'm looking close, got to have my glasses on. Saturday Night Live used to be funny, now it's not. See, my argument is it never really was funny. Okay, I agree with David. I used to love it when they had a good cast. I thought Mad TV was great. Yeah, it was a lot funnier than Saturday Night Live. I thought Mad TV. What, it was recorded and it wasn't live. Or was it live? It was recorded in front of a live audience, but not live. Okay, Jeremy, you were right. I prefer South Park. I'll ram or truck backing up. I'll ram. Now people are losing me. Okay, any NHL fans in the live stream laughing out loud? Yeah, South Park is good, like Family Guy too. Okay, so anyway, I shouldn't even mention any of that because I don't really watch those kind of shows anyway. And as a common practice, I don't watch those shows. So it's like a useless diversion. But I did make the point. Okay, whatever that was. This is clearly Crown Royal. Why do I say that? Well, Crown Royal has standardized, generalized whiskey aroma and taste. It's like fermented, distilled, but fermented cereal grains. It's mostly corn. Then you get some wheat. It's very round. And when you have a round product, it's hard to differentiate what's in it. It's sort of like listening to Phil Spector music from the 1960s with the wall of sound. He designed those songs to be that way, where it was you couldn't really say there's the horns, there's the bass guitar, there's the drums, there's the lead guitar, there's the rhythm guitar. It's just a wall of sound, what he called it. And so this Crown Royal is sort of like a wall of aroma and flavor. It's round. And if you watch, it could still be posted on YouTube. There's a great old television commercial from the 1950s about Schaefer beer. It was talking about how they designed it to be round, meaning what they meant was not too hoppy, bitter, not too malty, sweet, not too heavy, not too light, not too anything. Just a round beer that you can't differentiate the different components. It's just a summation. And I think Crown Royal is that way. There's some wood. Yeah, I mean, there's wood, the grains, the alcohol, the yeast, everything. I'm not over here to pick. I don't want people to take this wrong. People might think I got some like axe to grind with Crown Royal. I'm like using these taste challenges to attack it. That is absolutely not the case. I would recommend it. I would buy it again in theory, and I think it's fine. Are there faults with it? No, not really. And if you jump up and say, well, it's kind of bland, that's a fault. It's not a fault because it's designed to be that way. See? Because they have a ladder. You can climb that ladder. You know, you say, oh, it ain't as good as XL. Yeah, no, because XL is like $90 a bottle and Crown Royal is $23 a bottle. Just like Johnny Walker. It's the same way. It's designed to let you climb the ladder. And you might be satisfied to stay at the first rung. You could name Grant's. Well, I'm not going to sit here and name. I can name every liquor brand in the world, and they've all got a ladder to climb. So, I mean, the whole point is ridiculous. If you don't know that, you need to get on the internet and do some research. So, This one is not round because they got the nut oil in it. It's not a bad aroma. It's just a little different. Let's go with the taste. So I'm already telling you. I haven't tasted it, and I'm telling you this is not Crown Royal. All right, that's how I'm so confident I'm going to call it. It's not going to say CR. No way. It's impossible. Told you. This is CR, Crown Royal. See, I got the labels. CR. You can tell them apart. Just smell it, and that fast. Now, just for frivolous reasons, we'll do the tasting, but that's already been determined. It's got like heartburn. I have heartburn, which is in no way related to the whiskey. Might be the scrambled eggs with the luncheon meat and the onions. There's a burn, but it's a meaningless burn because it's a 40 proof burn. You're going to get that with any 40 proof liquor. It's just sweet grain, some rye, and then that strange, like Johnny Lake gave the great description, almond extract. It does not use almond extract. Never entertained that idea. But it's probably coming from white rum. There's so many comments I can't keep up. Crown is a standard of whiskey. Yeah, and it tastes like it should be the standard of whiskey. Many people have tried it, and it's easy to compare to. True. It's a benchmark. If you want to do Canadian whiskey taste challenges, Crown Royal would be your baseline. And things are going to be above it or below it. And many of them that will be comparable to it, except in the price range. True. I don't drink whiskey. I only drink beer, says David. Well, that's fine. I used to drink whiskey all the time, says Jeremy. Now, not so much. Pretty much stick to beer. Well, that's probably a good idea when you think about it. Oh, I know that. Jacob says, oh, I know it's beeping. The fries are done. Okay. Now, which is better for you? That's where we're going right now. I used to like the Boilermaker or a shot of whiskey and beer. Yeah, I see a guy on Church of the Sacred Brews on Facebook. Vito, if y'all join Church of the Sacred Brew. I don't know how he must have a iron body. His body be made out of iron. Because he'll take all these high gravity ales, like expensive craft beers that are 12% alcohol, and he'll drop a shot of tequila in it and then drink it down in a gulp. Pay like $8.99 for the one can of beer or bottle, and he'll and I'm like, well, if that's what he likes to do, it doesn't matter to me. And some people in that group are like, you need to ban him because he's gulping craft beer. And the guy that runs the group is like, why should I ban him? I mean, he paid for it. I don't care if he gulps it. He can gulp beer down all day. I don't care how much it costs. And then there's some of the people like, he's trying to be a jerk about it. They put a lot of time and effort into that beautiful craft beer, and he's gulping it down. And then the guy that runs the group on Facebook is like, I know, but it doesn't matter, okay? You don't have to watch the video. It's like you're making it seem as though you're compelled or under some kind of compulsion to watch him do it. And then when you complain about it, yeah, naturally he's going to do it more just to tweak you, like you can't see that. So then some of the people are like, I'm going to quit. And he's like, well, why haven't you quit yet? It's like, get a grip. He's not doing anything wrong. If he wants to buy an $18 bomber and gulp it down with tequila, it's like, who cares? And it was so funny to watch all that. I didn't step into it. I was just watching it. And I was like, right, well, why would you care? But that's what people who make craft beer their religion, you see. So he was committing blasphemy because he wasn't paying homage, devotion to the craft beer. But now everybody just thinks it's funny because all the people that got so hurt about it quit, They would say, I'm taking my ball and going home. I'm going to a real craft beer group where we can just bow down to it, worship it, make it a religion. And so the guy that runs it was like, okay, I don't remember making you join this. Oh man, that is it's just funny. It's like on my group, Alcohol Eggs, I'll ask people, well, how do you score it? And then one guy was like, well, I didn't put a score. I didn't know that was a rule. Well, it's not a rule. I was just asking how they scored it. It's not a rule. You could post a beer, wine, or liquor every day on Alcohol Eggs and never give a score. It's not a rule. I just said I was curious what they would score. They just showed a picture of it. I drank this craft beer from Delaware today. Okay, well, I'm curious, like, how do you score it? Is it an A, excellent, a B, good? Is it C, kind of fair? Average? Is it D, bad, or F, terrible, undrinkable? I'm just curious. It's not a rule. I'm not going to get kicked out the group because you don't give a score. I'm just going to, but every time I'm going to ask, what is the score? I'm curious to know. I'm not like really curious, just like kind of curious. It makes sense. It does make sense. Like Rock and Roll Club. I have a few rules. They're not very strict. Most people don't violate the rules. And most people have a good time. Some people have these fixations, like they just love the song. This is the greatest song ever. And then they get upset when everybody doesn't run and like it and brag on how great it is. And then they'll send me private messages. Didn't you love that song by Twingy Twang or whoever? I was like, well, it was okay. What? This guy's great. I was like, I never heard of Twingy Twang. Well, he's not corporate. He's got a following, though. He plays at very obscure clubs. I was like, oh, okay. I listen to it, though. I listen to every song on Rock and Roll Club, but I'm not obligated to love it. And then I've had people quit. Well, I'm quitting. If you don't like Twingy Twang, I'm like, okay, quit. Once again, you're not required to be in the club. Oh, yeah, the question. Which one's better? Good question. Oh, here we go. Crown Royal, Whiskey Scout's favorite. Yeah, right. Me either, says David. Ban someone who gulps down craft beer? That's un-American. Huh? Well, they're doing it now. They put that cancel culture. Hey, Ron, what is your all-time favorite beer? David says. I don't have one. And that's the honest truth. I really don't have one. Cajun fries or not? Both. Am I the only one who hears the beeping? I think it's a squeaky fan. Oh, it could be that fan in the background. It's going like wink, 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 wink. Well, it's not beeping. It's just going like wink, 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 wink. I think he will say West Flatirron 12, but it's very hard to get. And then Jeremy says, I don't hear any beeping. It's strange. I'll do a hangout like right now live, and I'm on 720 HD, which used to be called high def, no more. Okay. And some people say the video looks great. Audio's great. Havana's great. Somebody else will say, man, your video was so pixelated. The audio was garbled. And I'm like, well, I watched it. It wasn't garbled, and I didn't see any pixelation. I didn't see any pixels. So it's a very peculiar thing. It's like whatever the person is receiving could be bad. Not that what was sent was bad, but how they're receiving it. Could be their internet service provider. It's strange. Somebody told me that the other day. It's so blurry. I said, okay. I went and checked the playback. I watched it. I said, it wasn't blurry. I'm looking at the playback. I said it was dark because I did it at 5:30 in the morning with no lights. Of course, it's dark. It's Stormbusters. But it wasn't blurry. Now, could I go buy a camera, a webcam that's super deluxe high def? I could. I don't see why I would, since most of this is like people listen to it while they're at work. They're not sitting there staring at it. So therefore, why would you need high def to look at somebody sit in front of a bunch of comic book boxes and taste whiskey? Yeah, I don't think I need that. In my personal preference, I gotta go cut the grass. It's hard to say. I mean, I guess I'm supposed to say Crown Royal is more refined and higher quality. That's sort of like a rule. I have to say that. But it's $23 a bottle, and Albertsons was $5 a bottle, give or take some change. And there is no way on this world or the next or the one before, if you're in that viewpoint, there's no way I would pay $18 more. I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. I wouldn't do it. You might do it. I wouldn't do it. And if people came to my house and said, Albertsons, that's some store brand, I'm not drinking it, I would say, okay, don't drink it. Go get some Crown. I don't care. I was drinking water anyway. Do they taste the same? No way. I really kind of like this nutty flavor though. Like literally like cashews, almonds, pecans, and walnuts, an amalgamation of those. I kind of like it. Now, maybe I'm a child and I like childish things. You know, maybe a real man would want Crown Royal with its very strong grain flavors. Okay, fair enough. That's probably true. Everything you say about me is probably true. But that being said, still not paying $18 more a bottle for it, but I'll invite you to pay it. You can buy me an endless supply of it for whatever reason. I don't know. I do these taste challenges with like this much whiskey 7 times a week. Oh, wow. Big drinker. I've been working on Albertsons for like 4 years. I still got this much left. Might be a sign that I'm not a heavy drinker, but that's in perception, you know, in the perception of the viewer. Quality, I mean, to me, it's a tie. I'll be honest. I think Sazerac has a really good quality control. Sazerac Canada, quality control. You know, quality control. Now, who is their number one challenger to a Crown Royal? Well, that's Rich and Rare Reserve. That'll cost you about $16 a bottle. But still, $16 is a good deal less than $23. So I'm going to tell you before I even do the taste challenge. I'm going to tell you before I do the taste challenge. Number one, I'll be able to tell them apart. That's without question. That's going to be in a week or so. Secondly, I'll probably prefer the Rich and Rare Reserve. Thirdly, I think Rich and Rare Reserve will win. It won't win by much. Minimal. But when you take price into consideration, it's a huge victory, an upset, a fiasco for Crown Royal. And fourthly, I have no skin in the game. I don't really care. Crown Royal is owned by Diageo, of which I have no relationship to. And Sazerac owns all these other brands, of which I have no relationship, except that they're headquartered in Louisiana and I live in Louisiana. Beyond that, I don't care at all. How many times has Sazerac called me and said, oh, we're going to give you all this free stuff? Guess what? You know how many never. Even if they did. Even if they called me every day and said, here's another free liquor, I wouldn't be on there bragging about them. Although I have bragged about them. I mean, yeah. But that's not based on free stuff, on swag, which I've never received. It's just based on what I've tasted, which has been very positive for the vast majority of Sazerac products. Are there questionable ones? Yeah, Hartley Brandy comes to mind. More like boo-hoo, like crying more than laughing. But even that one, I have a perverse attachment to it. It's one of those things that's so bad, it's almost good. But Crystal Palace Gin, actually, that one's not so bad. I gotta admit. Anyway, well, this taste challenge was one of those that works out exactly like predicted. I knew I would tell them apart. I knew it would be a tie in quality. And I knew that I would say that there's no way I'd pay $18 more a bottle for Crown Royal. And it worked out exactly. And I got it right with pinpoint accuracy based on the very obvious differences. Now, does that mean I'm a great expert? No. It just means that any of y'all watching this could do the same thing, and you would never confuse the two. Never. No way. Can't happen. Last call, then it's grass cutting time. Oh, he says he hears it now. Now you hear the air conditioner coming on. Okay. Cheers, Blake and Jeremy, and cheers, David. And hey, if they send me free liquor, I'll brag, says Jeremy. He'll brag. Now, see, Jeremy's honest. If they send him free booze, he'll brag on it. Hello, Ron. What's up, says Kevin. Oh, nothing. Getting ready to go cut grass. Never too early for whiskey. Well, I can't argue with that because I do taste challenges at 5:30 in the morning. Ha ha, ha, yeah. They're all saying hello to each other. Cheers. Hello. What's up? Kevin says, you always had the best looking yard. Thank you. It's not a credit to me. It's a credit to the great soil here. Not much, man. Hope all's well. All right, all saying hello to each other. Well, y'all can read that on your own time. All right, so thanks for watching this taste challenge. Been going on 40 minutes, but yeah, it's I won't do this long drawn out thing for the rest because it'd be the same thing. They'll be short. They'll be like probably less than 30 minutes because it'd be the same video 7 more times. You know what I'm saying? So sorry, Crown Royal, but you're not going to win any of these next 7 videos or whatever the number is. It's not going to happen. And Grants is coming in next in about a week and a half. Grants, triple wood, they call it now. They used to call it Family Reserve. Sounds better than calling it Grants Basic Bottom of the Rung Whiskey. Yeah, that's going to be the same type thing because Grants, from what I tasted, is very good, but it's not going to stand out. I got so many cheap Scotch whiskeys; they'll go toe to toe with it. Yeah, they'll be right there in the mix. No weed eating. Well, I edged the yard yesterday, so today I just got to cut and then get the clippings up. So Crown for the win. No, Crown didn't win. It was a tie. And actually, I kind of preferred the Sazerac, the Albertsons. I kind of prefer the Albertsons. And for $5 a bottle versus 23, it's a clear winner. Albertsons is the winner based on price and flavor. Actually, flavor. Do they use 50 different whiskeys? Yeah, no. Girlfriend called me triple wood. Oh, okay, because you probably age whiskey in 3 different types of wood, which is a good idea, I think. All right, so thanks for watching this video production, and we're going to end this review by saying that's the end of the video.